Hey all, I'm Apurva and welcome back to WeDesified. As you all know, I am a 5th year PhD student in economics at Indiana University, and I talked to you about my PhD journey in multiple videos so far. But one question that I keep getting from many of you and from my friends is, how did I overcome my PhD fears? What was my thought process like when I was applying for PhD and while pursuing it, and what were the things I was worried about and how did I overcome them? So today I am going to talk to you all about my thoughts during one of the major decisions of my life. But before that, if you find our content helpful, then please like this video and subscribe to our channel to encourage us. And also make sure you press that bell icon so that you will be notified every time we upload a new video. So this video is going to be in two sections. First, I'll talk about my motivation to pursue PhD in the US, the application process and getting the admission. And next, I'll talk about coming to the US, the initial struggles, comprehensive exams and research. I'll mark the chapters so that you can watch what's more interesting to you, but I would suggest you to watch the entire video to get the full picture and understand how I faced each challenge in the process. So let's start. While I was pursuing my undergrad in economics, I realized two things. One, that I want to pursue PhD in this field, and second, I want to study abroad. So I started researching about it and soon realized that to pursue higher education in the US, one needs to complete 16 years of education. Now, because my undergrad was of 3 years, I was completing only 15 years of education back then. And so to fill that 1 year, I decided to pursue masters. My plan was to do just 1 year of my masters and then apply for programs abroad. But I was liking my master's program so much that I decided to complete both the years. When I was done with that and started thinking about applying for the PhD in the US, my biggest fear was that, is my profile good enough? You know, I came second in college during my undergrad and also received merit scholarship for my masters. But still I was scared to apply for PhD in the US because now my application will be competing other students' application coming from all over the world. Are my credentials good enough to compete at global level? Would I get an admission, that too with financial support? I had no one to guide me or no one I can look up to who had gone abroad for PhD in economics. And hence I felt like I need to work on my profile first. For that, I decided to give myself 1 year after completing my master's degree to build my profile and also prepare for exams like GRE and TOEFL. In this 1 year, while preparing for these exams, simultaneously I worked with my professor from undergrad and published a paper that will help me showcase to the PhD admission committee that I am capable and interested about research. I also worked at a college as an assistant professor in that year, which gave me work experience and that would help me get an admission with teaching assistantship. I did in-depth research about which colleges to apply to, made a list, contacted the professors and made my own strategy. I was still unsure if I would be able to get the PhD admission with full funding or not, and so just to be safe, I decided to apply for master's program as well. I decided to do that because I thought that if I do not get admission for PhD in the US in the first attempt, that would mean that my profile is seriously lacking something. And in order to make my profile stronger, I had to keep working on myself, and there were two ways to do that. First was to stay back and give myself 1 more year and apply for PhD next year. Or second way was to pursue masters in the US that would help me build my profile so that I can easily transition to PhD from there. And with that plan in mind, I applied to 6 universities for PhD and 4 universities for masters. With all this going, there was so much uncertainty that I was scared of that uncertainty. I am the only child of my parents and had never stayed away from home until then. So to completely move abroad in an unknown place and people, that too for such a long period, seemed like a challenge. In India, we have the luxury of getting house help for cooking, washing clothes, cleaning house, but that's not the case abroad. And so in that 1 year, I was mentally preparing myself for that challenge as well. Finally, all my efforts came to fruition when I received multiple admits from universities for both PhD and master's program, that too with full funding. This gave me a lot of confidence. Looking back at that time now, I think what really helped me was the time I took off to work on myself. Often people ask me how can they get PhD admit, or even in the comments section a lot of you say that you are very much interested to pursue PhD but you are not sure if your profile is strong enough and ask me for suggestions. I just have one thing to say, that it is very important to understand what your profile is. You should realize what are your strengths and where you lack so that you can work on it. And to do that, it is okay to take some time off either for a few months or a year. So believe in yourself, have that confidence and keep working on yourself and you will achieve your dream. So moving on, after coming to the US, a whole new level of challenges started. The first few months were real struggle. Starting from finding a house to stay, getting groceries, making food for myself, maintaining the house, bank accounts, social security number, on-campus jobs, everything was a learning. I was hired as a statistics tutor, and although I had teaching experience back in India, this was totally different. The education system here, how they conduct exams and assignments, everything is different, and I felt like I started a new life from the scratch. To top that, I had no friends or help with anything, because I didn't know anyone here and my PhD program classmates were only 4 other people. So there was literally no help there, even with homework or assignments. So I was completely on my own. The education system here is so different that I had to put a lot of time and effort to come to that same level as others. I was really stressed out and I knew I had to do something about it. So I joined the Indian Students Association club here to make friends, and that really helped me to relieve a lot of my stress. Soon after, when I thought that now my life has kind of settled and I'm somewhat at a good place, I realized that it was time for my qualifying exams. So if you're not aware, after 1 or 2 years into the PhD program, you have to pass qualifying exams, and those are really tough. If you pass, then you can continue in the program, and if you fail, then you have to drop everything and go back home. This sounds like a nightmare, and believe me, it is a nightmare. I have never studied so hard in my entire life, and I remember I was so stressed for months, and that really affected my mental health. But thankfully, I passed all those exams, and in fact, out of 5 of us, like me and my classmates who gave all those exams, only me and one more girl from Iran passed. Rest all failed and had to stop the program and leave. I still get goosebumps thinking about that time. Now 2 years into the program came the time to select my advisor and convince that professor to be my advisor. Things played to my advantage in this because the professor I had emailed during my application process was the same professor who gave me a research assistantship under her in my second year, and looking at my work agreed to be my advisor when I started my third year. This step is usually stressful, but I think I did fine. And then I started working on my research, and it feels like it's never ending. Meanwhile, the people who came for masters with me, whom I met over these years, all passed out, got high paying jobs, and I was still stuck here studying. There were many days that I felt like I was not making any progress, that my work is not giving any results, and I'm just stuck in a loop. I felt like other people are all doing good, publishing papers, getting good jobs, and achieving so much in their life, while I'm still stuck here pursuing my PhD that doesn't seem to end. I was frustrated with what I was doing and often questioned myself whether it is a good decision to come here and pursue PhD or not. And I constantly had to remind myself why I wanted to pursue PhD and why this is not a total waste. It is not easy to see people around you completing their degrees, moving out, taking up jobs, while you're still there completing your program. It made me question why I have to put myself through all this, so much stress and work. But you know what? I think when I graduate, all things will make sense, because you can never join the dots looking forward. And I really believe that all of this is part of the process. So even now when I see my friends moving with next stage of their lives, I do feel left back and alone. I know that there is a road at the end of the tunnel and I will get to that finish line soon. I think when you decide to pursue a program like PhD, which takes 5 to 8 years of your life, you really have to be ready for that kind of commitment. This also reminds me how often the imposter syndrome also kicks in and you feel like you are not good enough. I have felt it multiple times and still do to this current date. And I know it's just not me who feels that way. I think all PhD students go through this phase. It is not easy and you have to continuously train your mind to not lose hope and keep doing your work. I am in my 5th year now and yesterday I passed my field exam. This video is just not for you all, but for me as well, to remind myself that how far I have come through all those big hurdles and that I am almost there near the finish line. I will soon graduate. Being away from your family, building yourself in a new country among new people is not easy at all, but all worth it. I think pursuing PhD in the US is the best decision I have took because I have learned so much in this process, made so many friends in a new country, and more importantly, evolved as a human being. So far, I only talked about getting into the PhD and navigating through it, but graduating, finding a job, and the immigration struggles as an international student, they are all different challenges altogether. And so I'm not going to talk about all those things right now, but I will make a video in the future when I get there. Now when I look back, there were so many fears at every stage and so many unknown variables about the future, but the key is to believe in yourself and constantly remind yourself why you are doing this and keep making progress. So that's all for today. If you find this video helpful, then please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Let us know if you have any questions in the comments box below. We will reply and make more videos answering all your questions. See you in the next video. Until then, take care, keep learning. Bye-bye.